Hi, I'm Jim Stroud. Last year, Wells Fargo fired over a dozen employees, not for stealing, not for fraud, but for something smaller, sneakier, faking mouse movement to stimulate productivity. A $20 gadget became a career killer. And honestly, this episode isn't really about the device, a mouse jiggler. It's about trust, surveillance, and the invisible war between companies and workers fighting for breathing room. Let's talk about it. Act 1. The Great Mouse Jiggler Heist. What actually happened? So, what exactly happened at Wells Fargo? Well, in May 2024, they quietly fired over a dozen employees in their wealth and investment division. The reason? Using mouse jigglers to fake activity on their computers. Now, if you don't know what a mouse jiggler is, picture this. It's a tiny USB device, costs about $20 on Amazon that keeps your computer awake and your status showing as active when you're not really there, right? Now, some are physical gadgets that literally move your mouse every few moments. Others are software apps that stimulate activity. Either way, they fool your computer into thinking you're grinding away when you might be grabbing coffee, taking a call, or just stepping away for a quick sanity break, for a few minutes. For Wells Fargo, this wasn't just a policy violation. They called it uh, gross misconduct and unethical behavior. No gray areas, no mercy, just judgment. And here's the kicker on that. They reported the people who use mouse jigglers to FINRA, the financial industry watchdog. Yeah, they did that. If you work in finance, right, and you're getting flagged by FINRA, it isn't just about losing your job. It's like a scarlet letter that follows you for years. And these employees who got told on, they didn't just get fired, they got marked, making it very difficult, or I won't say impossible, well, extremely difficult to get a job in their industry for at least a few years, right? But here's what really, here is what's, let's try it again. Here's what's really wild about the story to me, right? Wells Fargo wasn't the first to crack down. They just made the loudest splash. JP Morgan, Chase, Goldman Sachs, Barclays, they're all tightening the screws around remote work. Monitoring. They're tightening the screws around remote work monitoring. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And so the question is for me, how did we get here? How did a $20 gadget become the symbol of a workplace trust crisis? Act 2. The surveillance arms race, how we got here. Okay, let's rewind to 2020. COVID hits. I still have PTSD on that. All right, so 2020 COVID hits and everyone goes remote, right? And suddenly managers are panicking. How do we know people are actually working? Enter the surveillance software boom. Companies start tracking everything. Key loggers. They started using key loggers that count every keystroke somebody makes on their laptop. Screen recorders that capture your every move. Status monitors that flag you for being idle too long. Software that tracks which websites you visit. Some even monitor your location through company devices. Yeah, that's a thing. I can't say was a thing. In some places, it's still a thing. But anyway, the message was clear. The message was clear from the companies. We don't trust you, right? And the workers, they began to push back. For every surveillance tool, they found a countermeasure. And mouse jigglers became the workers' dirty little secret, a way to buy themselves some breathing room from the suffocating scrutiny. But here's the irony. Monitoring was supposed to boost productivity, right? That was the intent. But instead, It bred a new kind of resistance. Workers started gaming the system, focusing more on looking busy than actually being productive. Companies started doubling down, right? And some banned unauthorized USB devices entirely. Others started using GPS on company laptops to see just where their employees were during office hours. And the surveillance arms race, it was officially on. It was officially on. The corporate world took notice. If Wells Fargo was willing to fire people and report them to regulators, messing up their careers over mouse jigglers, the message I think was pretty clear, which was this isn't a game anymore. So we got workers buying gadgets to fake productivity and companies firing people for using them. But what's the real cost, right? What's the real cost? Is there a better way forward? I think there is. And I'll share that with you right after this. Are you actively seeking work or maybe just open to new opportunities as they present themselves? Well, here's something that I really want you to think about. You ever wonder what ChatGPT says when someone asks who's the top expert in whatever field that you're in? Well, with Prompt Monitor, you don't have to wonder. You can see it. Prompt Monitor shows you if, where, and how often your name is being mentioned by AI models. I'm talking about ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, DeepSeek, and others. Why does that matter? Well, recruiters are increasingly asking AI to find talent. And if you're not being cited when they are prompting those types of questions, then you're pretty much invisible. But no worries. Here are 3 ways you can use Prompt Monitor to flip the script to your advantage. 1. Use Prompt Monitor to track your AI visibility. You can discover if your name appears in AI responses tied to your industry, skills, or achievements. 2. You can use Prompt Monitor to audit your digital footprint. If you're missing from AI mentions, it's a sign to beef up your online presence. Publish on LinkedIn, contribute to industry blogs, and optimize your bio so LLMs like ChatGPT can find and reference you. Then 3rd, reverse engineer influence. Use Prompt Monitor to see who's being mentioned, analyze their content and backlinks, and build your authority by strategically sharing insights using similar language and getting cited by reputable sources. The future of job search isn't just about who you know, not anymore. It's about who the AI knows. Prompt Monitor helps you become the answer AI gives when opportunity knocks. Check out Prompt Monitor for free by going to the web address on the screen or click the link in the podcast description. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to the show. Act 3, the trust bankruptcy, why this really matters. Okay, before the break, we talked about the surveillance arms race. Now let's talk about what this is really costing us. Every keystroke logged in is a withdrawal from what I call the trust bank account, right? Every screen recorded sends a message. We don't believe you, worker. And when workers respond with mouse jigglers, it's not just rebellion, although it's certainly that, but it's also survival, right? I mean, make no mistake, the corporate world doesn't see nuance here. In finance especially, compliance demands honesty, transparency, and ethical behavior, period. No arguments, right? They don't want to hear, but I needed a break. No, they're not hearing that. So legally, as far as I know, I'm not a lawyer, nor do I play one on TV, but to my understanding, legally, Wells Fargo was completely within their rights, right? U.S. employment is largely at will, meaning they don't need much reason to show you the door. And faking activity on monitored devices, that easily crosses the line into misconduct, right? But here's what the legal department didn't measure, in my opinion. The cost to workplace culture. When you treat employees like potential criminals, Don't be surprised when they start acting like it. The real tragedy, heavy-handed surveillance shatters the fragile relationship that makes good work possible. Trust, once broken, is expensive to rebuild. For the employer and the employee, here's a little cheat sheet I put together that should keep everyone on track. Let's bring this up. All right. If you're an employer, tell them you're monitoring or risk legal headaches later. If you're an employee, assume you're being watched, even if no one says a word. If you're an employer, focus on outcomes, not mouse wiggles. If you're an employee, focus on real work, not just looking green on Teams. If you're an employer, update your monitoring policies and actually enforce them. If you're an employee, read every tech policy you sign like it's a contract with the devil, because it is. If you're an employer, don't hoard unnecessary employee data. If you're an employee, don't leave personal stuff on company machines. Ever. If you are an employer, invest in trust, not just surveillance software. If you're an employee, remember, mouse jigglers solve the wrong problem. They don't save jobs. If you're an employer, if you fire, document everything. If you're an employee, if you're fired, know your rights, especially in your state. This is the bottom line. Bosses, if you can't trust them, why did you hire them? And workers, if you can't trust your boss, why stay? In the end, it's not the surveillance that kills loyalty. It's the belief that you had to be watched at all. Trust is earned in drops and lost in floods. And to the companies secretly monitoring their remote employees, well, you're already underwater. It's time for a shout out. And this week's shout out goes to all the job seekers I will be presenting to at the Job Search Summit. If you have not already, register now for this free virtual event where you will learn cutting edge strategies, resume secrets, and how to turn the tables on AI and more. Do not delay as virtual seating is limited. The Job Search Summit is on August 1st at 11 a.m. Central Time. Book your virtual seat now by going to the website on the screen. And here's a pro tip. Be prepared to take lots and lots of notes, as I don't think it will be recorded. See you there. Well, my time is up. I thank you for yours. I'll see you again real soon right here with a brand new episode of the Jim Stroud Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me. I can be reached by email at jimstroud@jimstroud.com. And one last favor, if I may ask, please rate this podcast. 5 stars is preferred, but please comment with your honest opinion. I really appreciate that. All right? Okay, until next time, bye-bye.